Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to be doing another top 5 of each attribute. People seem to like the last one, and some people gave some feedback, so if you have a bit more feedback, I would greatly appreciate it. But if you just give some advice as to why you think, let's say maybe you think Artwork Ichigo is the best green unit in the entire game, comment down below. I don't think anybody's going to say that, but that's just an example. But yeah, let's go on. Obviously, we're doing top 5, so the other ones behind it are honorable mentions in case maybe you don't know and maybe you don't have the other ones. Also, let me turn the music a little bit. There we go. So if you guys enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, so let's quickly go over technique. Obviously, I think it's very simple why he's the best. He's great in literally everything, and he's even better now in the very hard guild quest. He has a very good set of strong attacks. He has really good strong attacks, and since all that delay, he doesn't have to just absolutely nuke. And even before then, I believe he was also used if he had a lot of dupes. I've seen people clear very hard guild quests, like when like sub 40, I think it is, with him, even just out of 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5. He's a very good character. He's great in Limit Breaker. He's great in autoing anything. He's great in IT. Absolutely exceptional unit. The other thing he doesn't really have, I don't believe, is a bombardment skill. So, you know, his nuke is a bit weaker compared to like Toshiro. If I'm not mistaken, Toshiro also has bombardment. I know Bambietta has bombardment, so, but unfortunately nuking has been kind of nerfed. It's still really good, but that's why I think I moved down Bambi. And now Aizen, honestly, you could probably argue him to be better than Toshiro, but I have yet to see him in an actual guild quest yet. I haven't been able to use him, so I'm keeping him in 3rd place, but he's definitely gained a pretty sizable lead, and he's also pretty good in Limit Breaker quest. If you have him, he's good whenever they have the Rancor killer, or if if there are Rancors and you have a Rancor killer, you could definitely use him in there. I've seen Gin. Gin is still a very good potion character, probably still the best one, especially outside of IT. He's still like the best farmer for like IZ or the epic raids. IT I still think goes to Uryu just because of pure Siren skin, but Gin still has exceptional damage. I've seen him be used in Limit Breaker. He has exceptional skills. The poison deals a lot of damage considering a lot of the enemies have so much HP, so there's that. And then Retsu, just a good autoer, pretty solid DPS. You could probably argue maybe Artwork is higher than these 3, but it's not that big of a deal. It kind of just depends on what you value. And that's how we're going to get into Ninja and Noel. It depends on what you value more, because this is going on PVE, obviously not PvP. It's going over the entire game. So, like, for example, Ichigo has a huge boost in Guild Quest now, because he is a much better character than he once was, even though I still think he was my #1 power character. He has so many ways to deal with enemies. He can auto IT, he can auto IZ, he can be really good in very hard guild quests for holding down enemies. He has drain, so he's always going to be at full HP. He has a very good DPS. Even just at 1 out of 5 I use him, and he does just fine. And if you have a 5 out of 5, he's going to be exceptional. The only thing he's the only thing he's lacking is a bit of a nuke, but that's fine. You still have Yamamoto. Yamamoto's still an exceptional nuker, but I still think Ichigo is just better in every other aspect besides nuking. Obviously, I don't think anybody will ever question that a unit with bombardment has a worse nuke than a unit without. There's just absolutely no way. I think Yamamoto is the #2 power character still. Kenny, you could probably switch around any of these, but I still think Mayuri is just like meh. Until maybe if I try him out in the hard guild quest, maybe he would be even better, but I haven't had a chance to yet, so maybe his placement will move next month, but I still think he's right here. Bruno is basically in the same spot. He's like just kind of interchangeable. He's okay. He has pretty solid DPS. Neliel is a really good super link slot potion farmer. She's not regular link slot potion farmer, which is unfortunately, I just wish she had a bit more usage. I wish that they went full DPS or a full-on farmer, but they kind of went like 50-50, where she's a really good DPS for a potion character, but, you know, not as much as like a Yamamoto. And then she's also a pretty decent farmer, but she's not as good of a farmer, in my opinion, as like Rangiku in the heart attribute. So that's why I have this placement. But yeah, you can realistically change any of these 3, but these 2, in my opinion, are just set in stone. I do not like Yamamoto as much. He has no way to, if you get hit once, it's over. He lost basically like all of his DPS. It's just kind of unfortunate. It all just comes from his soul bomb. And now we have this. A huge fight in the comments last time was about Kurogi. people were saying he's number 1, so I listened to people's feedback and I did put him at number 1. I understand why. I think he is definitely more usable. If you think Ichigo is number 1, go for it. I won't fight you. I still think he's an exceptional unit. Bruno, I don't think he's better than these two because, yes, you need to build up Kogi's rampage skill, but it stays. What is his name? Bruno has to build up his gauge and then do damage, and then it goes away, and then he has to build it up again and do a lot of damage, you know. So that's why I don't think he's as good. You could probably even do this. Rangaku is still an exceptional character. The Pierce Iron Skin, all the DPS, she's literally easily the best heart character to farm with. So that's why I put her up there, 4 slot. Obviously, it depends what you value, but I value farming pretty darn highly. That's why almost every single attribute has a potion farmer in the top 5. Except for, I guess I put Gin. I put Gin for the technique one, but he is a bit more outdated than the other ones, so it makes sense why he's a bit lower than the other ones. Noelle. Noelle is a good unit. A bit outdated, though. The reason I just don't think Noelle is as good, I think she... At 1 out of 5 versus a 1 out of 5 anniversary Aizen, I think she is better. Which, I mean, is still pretty good being top 5 in the game. But I just don't like her as much. The Frenzy +1 is just kind of okay. She is very good in Guild Quest, but so is 6th anniversary Aizen. So is Bruno. So is Quilgi. Ichigo, he doesn't have enough crowd control, so I don't think he's that great. Maybe if you use him, he could be really, really good, but other than that, I don't think so. Rangaku is obviously a farmer. She's not meant for Guild Quest. Noelle's a pretty decent farmer in terms of like just being able to quickly breeze through it, you know, have a bunch of DPS, auto, point event, etc., etc. But other than that, I just think she's just vastly inferior to either of these 4. And if you have dupes in the Aizen, which you most likely do, I think he would be way better. But obviously, it's going off of a 1 out of 5 versus a 1 out of 5 character. I'm not going to say, oh, everybody has Aizen 5 out of 5, so obviously he's better than Noelle. I won't do that. But I have dupes in him, and I think he's miles better than Noelle. But obviously that's with dupes. Yoruichi, just a solid DPS. I wish she was better. I honestly wish I could put her at number 1, but unfortunately she's just been kind of power crept. They've released a ton of good heart characters within the last year. Literally all of these have been within a whole year up to this date. Ichigo is slightly more than a year, but still all exceptional characters. Kind of sad that Kaname is this low, not gonna lie, but he's decent. His power, his damage output is just mediocre, sadly. And now for White, or mine in general, I still think White is the best character. Balgo, I still prefer over 8th anniversary Ichigo. I have both of them 5-5, and I love Balgo so much more. I think he has so much better strong attack, because that first strong attack is just mediocre. I believe you should have already seen my gameplay of Ichigo. I did not like him as much as Balgo. Even without Killer, I prefer Balgo, because in the gameplay, I don't have Killer with Ichigo, but with my gameplay footage of earlier in the week, I had Killer, but even without Killer, I prefer Balgo. He's been my farmer since day 1. Ichigo is just unimpressive to me compared to Balgo, especially because his Soul Bomb just, it hits harder, I swear. It feels like it does. Maybe it doesn't, but it just feels like it does. It has more oomph. I don't know. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so with the new Very Hard Guild Quest, I'm actually going to move Nini up. So I did a whole segment on Nini. I'm going to have to just remove that and redo it, but I do think she's a very good unit. She could have been so much better, which is why I think I'm holding her back so much. I think I had her in 5th, but now I think she's in the 3rd slot. It's just that if she had recharge on her gauge, she would have been absolutely broken. Probably number 1 in the game for mine characters, possibly. Not in terms of nuking, but overall like usability. She's exceptional in Limit Breaker. She's a decent autoer. I would never bring her into IT, even with Killer. I think she's terrible in there. The Guild Quest, Very Hard Guild Quest, she is exceptional. She has Weakening, and she also has Burn, which is very nice for when the bosses have a lot of HP. The gauge is iffy, but if you can proc gauge a lot and proc your Spiritual Pressure Boost, which unfortunately she only has Frenzy +1 and no increased status element chance, which is just an L. I think if they added that, or Recharge, so either Frenzy +2 and a higher chance to proc status elements, or just, you know, you have a recharge on her gauge every time she gets it, I think she could have been one of the best units in the entire game. But either way, she's still actually way better than I thought she would be after I first tried her on Inheritance Trial. Realistically, you can bring her anywhere but Inheritance Trials. Maybe if she has Killer, she would be way better, but even, like, without Killer, it's just unfortunate. Don't do it. Never do it. Never do it. It's just rough. Maybe if you have her 5 high, maybe. But either way, she has some of the highest damage in the entire game when she has her Gauge proc, especially if she, you know, has Max Ascended, which I'll never have, so unfortunate, but I've seen gameplay of her, and she does look like she's an absolute monster when she has her Gauge proc all the time. She has Killer, and if she's 5-5, possibly better than White, but I haven't yet to actually, like, test it myself, so I'm not going to say that. You could put her above Balgo if you really wanted to, but I still think Balgo is much better. His strong attacks are still going to be really good in very hard guild quests. He's going to be an exceptional character for it. He's an amazing farmer. You can auto with him in literally anything. I can auto with him in IT. I just think overall he's better. I think she is a better guild quest character than him, but overall I think Balgo has more value, so that's why I'm putting him in second. That's just my take. Maybe you think Nini is better. That is fine, but yeah. Now on to the next part, and I don't remember what I was talking about in the video. Nini does not have a higher chance to proc Spirit or proc her Gauge, because, you know, she doesn't have the status element increased chance, which I think is a huge L. Only a Frenzy +1 and no increased chance to proc status element. That's my gripe with Yamamoto. I don't like that they have this, and it's just kind of an quote-unquote outdated kit compared to what we have now. I just prefer the ones above them. So in my opinion, you could do this. I think Balgo is better than both of these two. So you could do this, and then obviously that Neliel is like whatever. Ichigo is just a booster at this point, and Lisa is just a decent DPS. So that is all the new characters. I've been speeding this up because last time it was a 30-minute video, and I'm not trying to do that again. It's just way too long. And now, in my opinion, I did have Macy at like 5th, I believe. But honestly, with the new hard guild quest, honestly, you might be able to do this. Okiora is an absolutely insane unit, but obviously, if I'm only taking the guild quest into consideration, that's not very fair. But honestly, Unohana is just broken. I absolutely love, honestly, all 4 of these characters I love. Uryu is okay. I don't mind him. But he's a bit underwhelming compared to these 4. I just absolutely adore these characters way more. And I have him Max Transcended. The only other one I have Max Transcended is, I guess I have these 2 Max Transcended, so, you know. But Unohana, she's super fast. She does a lot of DPS. That pool that she leaves on the ground is also going to be very helpful for guild quests. And her Rampage skill is just extraordinary. I love the Rampage skill. In Limit Breaker quest, it's amazing. You can bring her into auto anything basically. She has complete status immunity, so you know that's another huge W for her. The Okiora also is a very, very good character. He has one of the vortexes. I don't know exactly which one, but it's still very, very nice to have in guild quest. Same thing with Macy, another vortex character, just really, really good. Incredible incredible DPS. She has weakened defense or weakening, and then paralysis on all of her skills as well, which is very, very nice to keep the enemies in place. And if you're bringing her to Limit Breaker or anything like IT, she does have the recharge, so every time you go through a room, she gains her strong attacks back 20% faster. Another huge W for her. I absolutely love her. Wish I could have pulled one more copy of her, but it is whatever. And then we have probably the best farmer. Everybody says they like him more, but I prefer Balgo, but that's because I'm bad at the game and I need Drain. But if you're better at the game than me, Tensa is an absolutely insane unit. He one-shots literally any enemy in the entire game, basically, especially in IT, because he has the Pierce Iron Skin, and he has another extra 100% damage to characters that aren't inflicted by a status element. Other than like the bosses, obviously, he doesn't one-shot the bosses. Maybe if he's 5-5, but I don't have that. But all of his attacks are extremely extremely good. They're like some of the best in the entire game, so you gotta absolutely love that. And yeah, and then Uryu, he's just a really solid character, really fast, really love him. He's fun to use. He is fun. I just don't really like him in Guild Quest. I've never really liked him in Guild Quest, unless I can nuke with him. But even like nuking, it's kind of iffy, and especially now, you cannot nuke with him. And then we have Mila Rose, just a really solid farmer, just like the Ruruka and Ebern. Ebern is just a link, that's why he's there. But Mila Rose, just a really solid farmer, plus 10 potions. We love to see it. And yeah, that is pretty much the top 5 in my opinion for October. Let me know down below what you guys think. I would love to see what you guys think. And let me know if I like, do you guys prefer it like this, or I break down each top 5 character? Because the last video was like 40 minutes long, which is just insanely way too long. I don't want the videos to be like that. I prefer this. It's a bit more concise. It's me just kind of speed running through the characters. I have broken all of them down before in my previous videos, besides like Noelle and Nini, because they're brand new. But yeah, comment down below, where would you place these 2 new units, since they're realistically the only ones that have had any big value since the last time I did a tier list. So yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Take care, and hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Peace out.